Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. You're watching Seeing the Unseen with Christopher LaPrath. My name's Kenan, the producer of the show. Now, tonight we've got a really interesting title, How Great Thou Art. I'll go into a quick thought on that momentarily, but first, a quick piece of housekeeping. For anyone who's out there joining us for the very first time, be sure to say something in the chat so I know you're here. First time, of course, the readings are always free, and going forward after that, it's just $10 per card, or you can pay $100 and do a card per show for the entire month, which I feel like is a pretty sweet deal since we run 3 shows per week. That's normally Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Now, I will announce that next week will be gone for Sunday and Monday, so just a heads up in advance. We'll be at Conscious Life. It's really exciting. So, quick note before I turn it over to Christopher here. Tonight's title, How Great Thou Art, I got to thinking about this discussion we were having with Alexander the Great, and really just the power of his belief, because our beliefs really do shape our reality. And I've said it before, but it's worth saying again, affirmations really do work. And thinking about and proclaiming how wonderful and good things already are, and then focusing on that and how it keeps getting better, and asking that question, how does it just keep getting better and better? That's the affirmation. That's the power of repetition that turns that very basic thought into a belief that really does shape reality. So thanks for listening to me. Enjoy the show. And here's Christopher.
Great blessings to every one of you. Happy Sunday night. It's going to be great. I'm really excited. I'm going to light the candle. Candles are lit. I'm going to light the incense. And my lighter has died. So hang on. There's another lighter here somewhere, I promise. That's what a producer is so great for. Thank you, Kenan. So I light this incense. This is all about your expansion. And to be free of agoraphobia, which is fear of small places. Step into your power. The name of the show is that Kenan came up with is How Great Thou Art. Yeah, how great are you? In my book, and in many, many people's books, you're way, way up there. So great blessings to you. This is sending you energy around knowing your power. One of the things that Kenan mentioned, he and I have been watching this show on Netflix called Alexander, the Birth of a God. And one of the main things, it's really an interesting, it's a documentary kind of drama. So they fill you in on a lot of knowledge, but I highly recommend each one of you watch it. It's really powerful. And one of the things, Alexander was Greek. His mother told him that he was the son of Zeus, and he absolutely believed it. So what is it we believe? What is it we believe about ourselves? So the title of the show is How Great Thou Art / Shopping for Boots. I'm not talking about ankle boots. I'm not talking about boots that go to your knee. I'm talking about hip boots. Because sometimes you have to kick people, you know where, that no longer serve you to your best and highest, but it's energetically kicking them out of your life because you're actually doing them a service. It may work that allowing people to absolutely hit rock bottom is what can cause a true change to come about. Now, as I look down the list, I know every one of you, and I know that in one time or another of your life, and maybe even more, you've hit rock bottom. But that's the catalyst for the change to help remind you how great you are. And I want to ask you this. Anywhere, any of you have played small, or anywhere where you've been taught to play small, to not be seen, not be heard, anywhere you've been taught to be small, anywhere where you've given your power away because you thought you had to give your power away, thinking that that will make things better. Power, come on back. Call it back now, fully. Yes, you may be made wrong by others, but that's where you pull out your hip boots. Because if you watch this special on Alexander, he didn't go, he was the world conqueror. But he was literally guided by the divine, which was himself. There was no separation between himself and the divine. He just went, and yeah, he was brutal at times. He killed people. I'm not telling you to do that, but I am telling you to sometimes go get some hip boots. Because sometimes that is the best thing that you can do in kicking that energy out of your life that no longer serves you to your best and highest. And he had some of the finest generals, the finest military militia men that knew how to fight battles, but he trusted his own gut, and that's how he became this world conqueror. This is about taking your energy back, bringing your energy back to you, and that's the group card tonight. This is the Sword of Light, and this is the Archangel Michael, he was actually the inventor of hip boots. That's why you see a lot of his images in ancient history. He has this incredible sword, this sword of light, this divine protection, wearing the hip boots, because he cut cords. This sword of light is about cutting cords. It's about breakthrough energy. And that's what is being blessed with you tonight, is this breakthrough energy. Whether you're facing a career change, whether you're facing a relationship challenge, money challenge, whatever it is, this is cutting the cords from old belief systems, getting your power back in whatever area that was inappropriately given, but at the time you didn't know that it was inappropriate. Now you know it's appropriate to call your energy back, to gain your power. And remember that this lifetime, you are definitely responding to pre-incarnation soul contracts. You are fulfilling this contract. You are divinely directed, whatever avenue that's take, and that you're here to make a difference on the planet. You are making a difference on the planet. Hands down, every one of you, I absolutely know that. One of the things I encourage you to do, I don't know when the last time you looked up the meaning of your name. So I just want to give you a couple of examples here. Marilyn, Star of the Sea, wished for child, love, beloved. In Egyptian, Marilyn means love or beloved. Drop of the sea. And it reminds me so much of that saying that you're not a drop in the ocean, you're the whole ocean in a drop. Abigail, Abby, my father's joy. Jared, he descends. And it came from the days of when the angels descended from earth. Interesting. So look up your name. Look at really that name that you chose. I know you can say, well, my parents chose that. But really, if you had a choice on what parents you were coming to, and you had a choice as to the syllabus and the learning path that you wanted to, what lessons you wanted to get from whatever learning path lay before you, I want to emphasize, yes, you're getting the learning. You're on the right path. You're being guided. That's what this card is about. Now, let me mention this. When you cut these cords with these situations or these people, and you've used your hip boots to the full, there can be, and often is, sometimes this feeling of isolation. When this old energy leaves, if you've been with that energy for days, months, years, decades, you've been kind of used to it. And when it leaves, there's this feeling sometimes of an isolation or being alone. But what's happening? Yes, there is an in-between time, but what's really happening is you're moving into a life that is in greater alignment with this Dharma, your life path, with your higher purpose, with your highest good. It's only these lower vibrational energies that have been cut. Cut them. That is the group card for tonight. Whew. That was exciting. Okay, Dawn. Here we go. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. This is definitely dawn, new beginnings for you. So, oh. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for pulling this card. Thank you for choosing your name. So this has to do with what I just said, Dawn, about this feeling of isolation. But it also, when you cut off these ties, or when you are moving from one aspect of your life into another, whether it's career, money, the stuff that drops off, I call it exhaust. And it's literally sometimes physiologically leaving your body. So sometimes people get sick physiologically, like it's stuff that is absolutely leaving your body. So I'd highly recommend, warm hot baths with Calgon. Let it take you away. Massage. Of course, your yoga. But this is helping you move through and past the exhaust. And the exhaust can last a day, a week, but know that it's leaving. So when you're feeling sometimes really tired, go with it. Last night I slept for 12 hours. I've never slept for 12 hours. But I also know that I'm getting ready for this big show next week in Los Angeles. And I wanted to thank nature, because right now nature is hammering that LA area. Of course, many blessings on people there, but with rain, like they're getting record rain, flooding, that type of thing. But it's also very cleansing. So the next weekend we're going over for this Conscious Life Expo. And there's supposed to be 12 to 15,000 people there. So that can be, it's really important then to stay in your soul, anchored, grounded, especially when you're around that many people. So my point here, Don, is old stuff is dropping away, and it needs to. It's literally exhaust, but it's getting you ready to be in front of more people. How great are you? How great are you, Don? Lana, Sonia, Marilyn, Diane, John, Marilyn and Abby, Edna, Kat and Jared. How great are you? It's not just it's not what you're saying. It is not what you're doing that changes people. It's who you are being. It's who you are. And the more you are who you are, the more the exhaust drops off of you. That is what people recognize. Alexander didn't go around telling people, I'm the son of Zeus. I've had a revelation from Zeus, and this is what... No. He was who he was, and people sensed it. They felt the energy around it. That's where you're moving into. And anywhere, Don, that has not been the case, anywhere where you've played small, that's all leaving. That's all the exhaust. This is you stepping up, stepping up, stepping up. It's like Alexander, when his word would go out, then the troops would follow his energy. They would follow his voice. They would know. He would communicate. I mean, I really feel like he would communicate with them telepathically, mentally. That's what you do. You tell your angels, Don, and I'm telling this to everyone on the show. You tell your angels how you want it to be. Let them do it. Let them go about it. That or something greater. Okay, my dear Lanny. And by the way, thank you all for your contributions. It really is going to help us to be able to go to the show, help a lot of people. So I really, really appreciate that. Okay, my dear Lana. No, Lana. How about this? How about you and everyone on the show? Universe, bring into my field, bring into my range, surround me with people that get me. And that you're not wasting breath, you're not wasting energy on people that don't get you. So let's say you throw a party. You want to invite people that you really interact with, that you really love, that you relate to, and they get you. You wouldn't invite all kindergartners. It just, no. But you understand where you're moving into this path where you're realizing how great thou art, and you're calling that and those type of people more into your life. This is the understanding of really, really understanding how great thou art. And not just give it to God or a higher power, because where does that higher power start and where does that higher power end? With you. You're part of that higher power. That's the huge thing with this. This is so there's a verse that says in the Bible that says the birds of heaven don't worry about where their next meal is coming from. So number one, just as a way of reminding you of that, put a bird feeder out. But second of all, I mean, the main thing here is that you're looked after, you're cared for. So when this bird leaves the cage, which it's doing, it's leaving its understanding of how it thought life was and moving into a much greater open space. But there are some birds, when you open the cage door, they don't fly out because, oh my God, I've got agoraphobia. I can't go outside the cage. This is you moving outside the cage and moving into more of a world of spirit and your communication with spirit. So are you willing to allow that and to fully accept that you're the voice of the divine? Oh, that's kind of powerful. And not just you, Lana, but everyone on the show. Are you willing to know that every day when you get up and you go out, it could be the person checking you out at the grocery store. It could be the person that pulls into you next to a parking spot. What you say, how you smile, it's of the divine. And in no uncertain terms, know how much you affect other people. So this is a perfect relay from Dawn into your reading, Lana. This is having more freedom. And what does that mean to you? What will you do with more freedom? Okay. All right, my dear Sonia. And again, Sonia, thank you for your contribution. Lana, thank you so much. Dawn, all of you. I really, really, really thank you. All right, my dear Sonia. Anywhere where there's guilt, oh my God, that there's a little energy on that one. Ooh, man. So belief systems can be very, very expansive, Sonia. So, I've said this on the show before, below the age of like 6 or 7, everything in the family that happens is because of you, whether it's good or bad. And people can carry that guilt and then continue to expand on it. So I've worked with people that a relationship didn't work out or wasn't working out, and they take the guilt on themselves for the relationship. But then when we check into it, they also feel guilty for everything. There's no limits to the guilt. They feel guilty for World War II. 40 years after they were born. World War II ended. They still feel it's like once you're hooked into the guilt, then it goes to a party line throughout history and throughout time and space. And yep, World War II, that was my fault. Oh, yeah. That car accident down the street, yep, that was my fault. It's like, and I'm using that as an illustration, so I cancel, clear, delete that. I didn't mean that, but I'm using it as an illustration where you can take on that guilt. So it maybe has served you in the past, Sonia, but it's not serving you anymore. And anybody on the show, I'm asking you that. Is that guilt serving you anymore? I'm not one to judge. So I'm going to tell you this story. Some of you have heard it, they've been on the show a while, but about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I read for this gentleman, and the first thing I said to him, and this guy is an advisor to Congress, like he's an advisor to the White House. The first thing I said is, it's not your fault. She's telling me it's not your fault. And he completely lost it. I did something unusual. There was something that happened. Like when he sat down, I told him to get his friend, who is a client of mine, to come into the room with him, which I never do. Because readings are usually pretty private. But for something told me that he needed somebody there. So when we got into it, and I told him that this girl was saying it's not your fault. This guy was in his late 40s. And when he was 16, they were going to a school dance. And the boys, he was driving. His best friend was in the front, the girls were in the back. And just kids being stupid kids. His passenger, for whatever reason, just reached over and jerked the wheel. And Todd lost control of the car. And it rolled several times, and the girl was killed. So he'd accomplished quite a bit in life, but had always lived with that guilt. And it was literally, he said, this completely changed my life. 3 days later, he was driving to the airport, and he felt this woman's hand on his shoulder. And he saw her in the front seat telling him it wasn't your fault. And he had to pull over. He was sobbing uncontrollably and called me because I could relate to that. But as a child, this guy was really gifted. When he was 3 years old, they're driving down the street. And he looks over and he says, Mama, a boy died on a bicycle there. Well, this was before, obviously, cell phones and whatnot. But his father went to the library, looked up on the cellophane, the old cellophane. And at that address, a little boy had been hit at that house on his bicycle. Anyway, it brought back this guilt just captured or covered this guy for many, many years. And when it lifted, his gifts are coming back hundredfold. So that's why I wanted to share this with you, Sonia. This is you moving out of the guilt. Do what is right for you. Do what is best for you first. Oxygen mask at the plane, put it on you first. Okay, good one. All right, my dear Marilyn. Ooh, this is a good one. Are you open to receive more? Dawn, Lana, Sonia, Marilyn, Diane, John, Marilyn, Abby, Edna, Kat, Jared, Ashley. Are you willing to receive more? More money, more spirituality, more spiritual downloads, more compassion, more love, more. And anywhere, Marilyn, that you've constricted or defined what you can and can't receive or should or shouldn't receive, can you open more of the coffers? Are you willing to let go of, oh, you know what? I should feel really blessed. I really do have enough. Zzz. Zzz. Are you willing to be open to receive more? Anywhere where you have been taught that you don't deserve more, are you willing to let that go now? Good job. Are you willing to let your allowance meet your awareness and your awareness meet your allowance? Allowance meet your awareness. Have you ever been to a dinner? All right, so I lived in China. I would go to these wonderful people's houses, and they would serve the most awful, awful, awful things. And I would, hang on, I've got to shut my phone off. I apologize. And I would, leave there hungry. Well, if the host knew that, they would be appalled. This is where you can go, and we're taught not to be rude and go, hey, I don't like this. Don't you just have any like macaroni and cheese? Can you ask the universe for more and expect it? it's it's an eclectic restaurant. The universe serves all kinds and every kind of food. More, more, more. Receive, 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 receive. Okay, my dear Diane. So, first of all, CBD oil. This is the first thing I get. Of course, because I see a hippie here. But this is the abundance. So I'm gonna parlay out this onto from Marilyn's reading from her reading, where you have parceled off abundance, where, oh, I should be grateful, and then it just stops there. I'm not saying that you're not grateful or that you shouldn't be. Being grateful is really important, but using that as a partition to actually having more and being more, and anywhere where you've acquiesced your energy or your power to a higher force. Again, I'm going to ask you, where does that higher force end? Where does it begin? It does not. Are you willing to let go of the idea that it lies outside of you in the form of a entity? This is so it's clearing away old belief systems that you weren't not even aware of. If this is the whole thing with me seeing the unseen, is it's not just about ghosts, it's not about entities, it's not about that. I mean, there's enough people out there like Teresa Caputo and that actually see the dead, and there are some people that really do need to see the dead, or they have a message from the other side. A lot of times these messages that are come through are not necessarily from a dead relative, or if they are, that person wants to remain anonymous. These are energies that get locked into your energetic field. And in order to have more abundance, just take a minute, take a meditative moment. And however you see this, if you see this energetic field around you full of light and bright, if there's any dark spots, if there's any holes, repair them and get those dark spots out. Like mentally remove them now. Any of the causes. Repair that field. And you can do it with your imagination. Sometimes literally people will picture a field and it'll be full of green grass, but then they'll have like old tractors or piles of horse manure or whatever in the field. Again, use your imagination to clear that out. And any superimposed self-judgment. Let go of that. Okay, my John K., what do you say? Hot tub. I seriously am getting hot tub here, John. You can do these hot and cold plunges. But this is massage. This is like establishing your home in Wyoming, because I get hot springs. I'm really big on hot springs here. The river. This is you moving and building that house in Wyoming. It's I don't there's something energetically really important about your photography, about that place, about the energy around it, and being in that hot mineral water. Yeah, there's something really powerful about this. Like literally, like I just don't right now see you going to Texas. I just see you going, there's something there, being by the water, being by the hot water, being by that area, about going with the flow. Be free of forcing it. Are you willing to let go of, I have to, need to, I should? Let go of that, because literally the universe pivots on a dime. It spins on a dime. You think you're moving one direction, and then boom, it just spins on a dime, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing this now. Be willing to accept that, to loosen up a little bit and go, yeah, but I was counting on doing this. Maybe not. The universe has something much more. It's like you can't control, nor would you really want to control, the current of a river. No, the reason you go boating or tubing on a river or a creek is to go with the flow. Go with the flow. You're going with the flow. Way better. Okay. Marilyn and Abby. Hey. Marilyn, we can't make this stuff up. You got the you got the no thingness card, the nothing card. That's the whole Buddhist philosophy. It's like, okay, so this whole theme of the show, right, is how great thou art, and putting on those hip boots, and you actually, you look, I'm sure you look great in hip boots. But my point here is, when any of us take the garbage out, like Kennan's really great. He takes the garbage out. I don't chase after him and go, wait, there might be something in there. Let me look again. Let me look again at this garbage. I got to see if there's something in there. It's gone. This is just going with the flow. This is John. It's so funny. This is right after John's card. It's the no thingness. It's bringing in it's it's seen past what is apparent. Like, let's say Abby brings home, I don't know, day old bagels, and you're upset because she didn't bring fresh, daily made that morning bagels. Is it really about the bagels? It's about what's below that. What's below that? What's below that? It may be that you find that it may have triggered something with maybe not having enough food growing up. And I'm just using this as an illustration. But this is like giving you an opportunity to go down to the core level of what the issue is about. It's really not about the bagels, what the core issue is, and then clearing that so there's no thingness. There's no trigger anymore. Nothing. There's nothing. Also, a lot of people explain or expect answers like they would going to a grocery store. Excuse me, miss, could you tell me what aisle your laundry detergent is in? That's not how the universe works. There are no aisle numbers to the universe. It comes from the answers come from no thingness. It comes from nothing. It's why the Native Americans, right? The crow is like sacred to them because the crow is the messenger between no thingness, nothingness, the void. They call it the void. And when you need the answer, when you actually need the answer, it's there. It appears out of nothingness. I know you want it to be aisle 12. We all want it to be aisle 12. But it's not. It's just not. Never is, never will be. All right, my dear Abigail. By the way, Abby means my father's joy. Interesting, right? So, if you think of your Heavenly Father, you're your Father's joy. Transformation. Oh, when we go through this transformation, we want the left brain. We want to know the answers, like how not only aisle 12 but the ingredients. What is in my laundry detergent and how is it affecting me, and hey, what is aluminum sulfate? What is that? Where did that come from? Where's that manufactured? And it's like, no. This transformation that we're all going through, it's like well, let's say so if you're going in for, like, I don't know, surgery, going into the doctors, you have to have a special diet, right? Or maybe you don't eat anything the day before. You do this prep work, right? And then you go and they put in all the whatever it is they put in your, they hook you up to stuff, and then you go in for the surgery, and that's actually the transmutation or the transformation. But it's the prep work. And so you can tell when you're getting ready for spiritual transformation or spiritual surgery, maybe you're craving carbs or sugar or salt or fats. Those major four things: salt, sugar, fats, and carbs, right, is what your brain uses. So when you're going through a spiritual transformation, you may all notice that sometimes you crave those things. You know what? Go ahead and eat them for a day or two. Because your brain, you're needing to build those neurons to help support this transformation, this spiritual infrastructure that's coming in. Because we live in a physical body right now, it has to be supported by the certain nutrients or certain things, like the brain does fats, sugars, carbs, and salt. Any or combination of those three. And everybody's transformation is different. So this is the conundrum. You can't compare your transformation to my transformation or Kennan's transformation or anyone else's transformation. This is yours. Honor it. Follow it. It's happening, baby. It's happening. And I'm going to say that to everybody on the show. All right, my dear Edna. Well, actually, 2 cards pulled out, Edna. First of all, are you free of the need to know it all before you act? I'm not saying, not to research things, but you're ready now. This is spirit going, you are ready now. Step into it. Start with where you're at and what you know. You are mature. You are ready. And a lot of learning comes from actually doing it. When I started doing these readings years ago, most of my time was spent arguing with spirit. Like, you really want me to say that? You think they would know that? Why do you want me to say that? And it would go on in my head, and it was like pulling me apart. Like it would drive me crazy. And then I started not enjoying what I did, and I went, you know what? I just learned to let go. And this maturity is allowing people to get their lessons and withdrawing your energy around any guilt. You've done your best, Edna. Your best is good enough. Okay? And that's then the card here is called the burden. This is coming back into your own power, knowing how great thou art, and anywhere where you have been directed to having to supposedly play small, be quiet, don't upset anybody. Hit the hip boots, girl. It's getting the hip boots. Okay? This is getting the hip boots. So allow. And this is getting the burden off of your back. So anywhere anyone is trying to direct you, like this guy's trying to go up the mountain, and he's got this idiot and this cock on top of him. So this guy is driven by ego that is trying to drive this guy, go faster, go harder, blah, 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 blah. This is losing both of those and climbing this mountain on your own, free of burden. This is what's happening. It's not anything you have to do. It's falling out of your field. Okay, my dear Kat and Jared. Jared, he descends. I love that. I love the name of that, the meaning of that name. And Kat, I wanted to make sure, because I've always called you Kat, so I didn't look up your name because I wasn't sure what. But anyway, look up your name, okay? First of all, Jared, look at Simon and Garfunkel songs. I don't know why that came, but so the masters in India, they're trained to smell bull crap from over 1,000 miles away. And so when that person is traveling to get enlightenment and they enter the temple or they enter the ashram, the master will look at them and just turn away and go, oh gosh, look at the time, and leave. Won't even meet with the guy because he knows that person is not ready. He will not waste his time. He will not waste his words. So anywhere where any of us feel guilty for trying to help people, this is improving your sense of smell, like the guru. Let's start with 50 miles away rather than 1,000, okay? Where you keep your silence. Well, you know, it's rude to turn away from people. Yeah. That's your hip boots. That's your leather hip boots, Jared. Oh, Catherine, okay. Catharos, which means pure or clear. It's a girl's name and a variation of the names Catherine, 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 and Catherine. Okay. Thank you, Jared. Thanks, Kat. So, well then, Kat, then you, okay, Jared, you please, you guys, watch that Netflix on Alexander. I've been watching it. It's just a fantastic program, and since Kat, your name is Greek, and Jared, you have Greek origins, which I didn't know, but I think you guys will find it fascinating. There's a lot of fascination there. Okay. Okay. We have a Kim Carol Diamond?
Yeah, it's a new person.
A new person. Thank you for being here, Kim Carol Diamond. I like that. Welcome to the show. So anyway, this is not throwing your pearls before swine. And this divine, so many times, all the time, the divine comes through and you say the right thing at the right time. And sometimes you say nothing at all at the right time. So honor that. Okay. All right, Kat, here we go. So, Kat, this is your connection to Source. And what a fantastic timing, right? That your name means clear, it means pure. This is pure Source. It's like light coming through more clearly without it being diffused or refracted, or interrupted, or blocked. Allow that. This is allowing the light to come through and just cleanse and purify even more so. And this is cleansing and purifying. And if you allow this, again, this is going back to the beginning, one of the beginning cards where it's about allowing this to clear any of the, in medical terms, you would call it plaque, or any clogging material, any stuff that no longer serves you. See this light coming in and clearing away any of these old belief systems or expectations that you put on yourself or put on other people. This is like an old way of being, completely releasing, completely letting go, and moving into something brand new. You are the master. Claim it. Claim it. Know how great you are. Also, so I'm very, very open to essential oils. It's one of the things I've seen amazing things happen, because essential oils, the nose is connected to the limbic system, and it's a like the olfactory bulb. It's part of this limbic system that helps with memory and emotions. So I would carry some kind, or 2 or 3 different kinds of oil with you, Kat, to just, put on your upper lip so you can smell it. It will snap you out and help you remove those energetic clogs. Oh, and anywhere where you've given other people the power to speak God's word, who are you not to speak God's word? Oh, this was really good for all of us. Thank you so much. Okay, my dear Ashley. So this is called the Rebel. This is Rebel. All right. So anywhere, Ashley. Oh. Good stuff. Really good stuff. So are you familiar with Pavlov's dogs? Pavlov was a scientist. He taught that when the bell would ring, he would feed his dogs. And then it got to a point where when the bell would ring, the dogs would immediately start to salivate, like they would get ready to eat, because they'd been trained that way. Anywhere anywhere where you've been trained to sit down, shut up, be quiet, not to stand out, not to make waves. Are you willing to throw that bell away now? You're a rebel. Claim it. You're here to make waves. You're here to cause upset because it needs to be upset. It needs to be overturned. That's a better word. It needs to be things need to be overturned. So you're moving into this done with the status quo, done with the way things have been up into this reading tonight. I'm letting go of mores, norms of how money is made, how relationships should be, and letting go of all that. This is you being the rebel. And getting your, this is like really getting your sassiness back. You are fantastically sassy. I love it. Okay, my dear Teresa. Okay. So, Teresa, this isn't dealing with you. It's called the schizophrenia card, but it is dealing with people that you're dealing with. So what I would suggest is when you're thinking about this person or you're in front of this person, go, wait a minute, who am I dealing with here? If you ever saw that movie years and years ago with Sally Field called Sybil, where she was multiple personalities, this is your insight developing to see past the persona of who that person thinks they are and who that person actually is. So this goes down back to Marilyn's card about the no thingness, the nothingness. For your ability to see the core level. And I've always tell my clients, when you're talking to a person in your head, just go, I'm not going to talk I'm not talking to this person's behavior. I'm not talking to this person's belief system. I'm talking to the soul level person. And you say that to yourself, obviously, you don't verbally say it to them. But you know that you're only going to speak to that person, not their belief systems, not their behavior, not their rhetoric that they've been taught to say or been caught all their lives into saying, or belief system. Interesting point of view. You have that point of view. That's a great comeback. Interesting point of view. You have that point of view. Rather than go, oh, I don't believe that. Oh, that's wrong. And because then that's what they're expecting, and it puts them into it gives them this ability to start draining your energy because it's their behavior and what they've learned in order to drain other people's energy. And Teresa, don't buy that no more. Because when you address that actual person, you're doing it energetically, right? It is really a huge help to them because on some level, it maybe helps them remember who they are rather than all the rhetoric of what they've been taught and who they think they are. Okay, well, everybody, welcome Kim Carroll. Thank you so much for being here, Kim Carroll. First time on the show.
Oh, Teresa asked if she interacted with that person today.
Yeah, that's why the card came up, girlfriend. You the best. All right. So, Kim, thank you for being here. This is the SUCCESS. That's the way you spell success. Please give yourself a ticker tape parade. It doesn't always come from the outside. People aren't always going to see the good that you do, or you may not even get any accolades because people are so wrapped up in who they are and their belief systems. And no, this is like buying yourself a cake. And this is like buying your own candles and making a wish and giving yourself some huge, huge kudos for how far you've come, what you've accomplished already. And then the universe builds on that. So you've got this success card, you've got more success coming, but honor the energy of that success. Okay? Because we're all just energy, and we're all honoring this energy of the success that we've created and done. And then when you feed the energy, when you feed that energy of success in the smallest way, it then grows and you become more successful. This is taking the smallest thing and giving yourself a ticker tape parade. Fantastic. All right. We're going to do this again tomorrow night, same time, 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time or Arizona time. And then Wednesday night. But then we're off. We're going to California. We're off on Sunday and Monday, but we'll make that up either with double readings or double cards or whatever during the following shows after that. But I wanted to thank you all for your contributions. Thank you so much, because it will help us be able to even make California more successful. So love you all. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow night.